Hello and welcome to the Hardy Brain, the show that takes athletic, introverted entrepreneurs and leaders and transforms them into ironclad brain performers. I'm your host, Dr. David Hardy. And today on our show, we've got another amazing guest. He is a leadership awakener, an altruistic, and a speaker and coach. Welcome to the show, Jorj Helou. How you doing?
Excellent, David. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Oh, this is exciting. And well, I've heard you say this. Nothing is more gratifying to yourself than seeing leaders' eyes light up after helping them identify solutions to their difficult situations. Explain, like how do you get this from people? Like what are these difficult situations that you're seeing in your practice here?
So, David, it's not easy to be a leader or a manager in today's world.
Right.
Uh, Taking the responsibility of a team, having the pressure of managing operations, more and more complex, introducing new technologies, making sure that you can always do more with less resources, and dealing with daily hurdles and daily obstacles. It's not an easy job. And more and more, we're seeing people that they reach a point where they're ready to handle a team, but they actually say, I'm not very well equipped. I don't have the skills. I don't have the tools. So leave me alone and I'll just like do my job. But unfortunately, those people need support. They need people to tell them there are some ways, there are some practical ways, there are some tools, there are some processes that they can put in place. And why not learn them and put them in a very practical way? And I'm not saying about reading a full book of 400 pages so you can learn this. It could be through a workshop or a coaching. And then people learn little tricks, little tips, and they say,
Right.
ooh, that one is going to help me and support me. And this is
Well,
where the light comes.
yeah, let's unpack that because you said so much there that's so relevant. And like one that hits me is the education part. Like
Mhm.
everybody thinks formal education is the way, the route, it's credentialing, but it a lot of it's academic. It's know-how, it's not doing. It's not these situations. So yeah,
Exactly.
how you're putting it and saying it is really good there. That yeah, you're in the workplace, and I'm going to help you through it and develop skills. And the other thing is kind of this transition moment, and so many people have it, is that okay, they've mastered this skill and they're really good at it, and all right, we're going to promote you because we think you can help others out because you know it. And then all of a sudden you go from doing to having to manage and get other people on track. And it goes kind of into that saying, well, geez, if you promote incompetency or or that people rise up the ladder because they of all sorts of different reasons. So there's always that aspect and theme of things, but like
Yeah.
where do you get people to actually flourish in that transition versus becoming one of these these memes, I guess, that are out there?
And you said something that is very, very important. We're promoting you because we know you're going to help others. Unfortunately,
Yes.
this is not what is said in the organizations, David. Unfortunately, what is said is the following: you are doing a good job, so we're promoting you because you're doing good in your technical operational job. And there's nothing mentioned about how difficult it is to manage human beings after that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's as if it's supposed to, since you know how to do this task or this process, so you'll be able to manage the others also who do the same process well. No, managing human beings is way much more complex than managing processes and technical things. So when people don't realize this, and they tell them, one of the things they tell them, oh, you learn that on the job. Yeah, yeah, you'll be in the operations and you learn how to become a manager. Whoa, what is the price? And how can we avoid paying that price ahead of time by supporting these people to become real leaders or to learn? some tools and ideas on how to be real leaders in the making in the operations, rather than just having those theories, academic ideas.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, okay. So somebody starts out then with like a pre-management training. Um, how effective are these? Are they just, once again, something that's put in place and by companies because they thought they were on track with things? Like, what's the difference between like the bottom end? Okay, we're going to train you to be management versus high end for high performers, high stakes.
Yeah, there are. I noticed that there are two types of organizations that come to me as clients. One of them is, my people need to develop that XYZ skill, and we want to offer them training. Can you offer that? And I say, yes, of course. And they, okay, perfect. We offered you this training for their employees. Do whatever you need to do to become better. And I don't like to be working
Oh, no
in this
kidding.
context. And then the other one, which is where I challenge them and I tell them, how are you going to make sure that you'll have the right return on investment? And how are you putting a structure that would guarantee more, the best results possible? In other terms, how are you preparing the people to bring to the training their real case examples so they can be solved in support or in collaboration with their colleagues and the coach or the trainer who's there? How are you making sure that you're going to compile all the commitments and things that those people are going to put in place? How are you involving the leaders of those participants or those managers in order to make sure that they do the follow up and they offer opportunities to put things in place? And how are you going to measure, depending on which goals are you going to measure the end result? So all these are as essential as the content of the training, as important to put in place and have sure that we have all the needed conditions so those people can really develop. And it's a completely different concept from the university or school or any other academic place. That's why we call it andragogy rather than just calling it pedagogy. So
Right. Yeah. Now, all right, let's go to kind of the next stage that somebody might face. You were one of the people, the workers, let's say, or whatever title, and all the people around you are the same. They're workers, right? And now you're management. And now you have to be giving direction, orders. Um, how do people kind of navigate that world of, okay, I was your peer, now I'm your boss.
yeah.
Like, do this. Like, you're falling behind. Like, it just seems like right off the bat, like dynamics change, and all of a sudden, like I've heard people say, "Oh, I got promoted, and now my friends are no longer my friends. I'm isolated." Describe that world and how people can maybe transition better so it's not a huge gut punch.
So one of the facts is that you will be losing friends.
Yes.
That's okay. Don't try to say that, oh no, these are my long term friends. I'm going to keep on the same relationship. Well, sometimes it happens. And I wish it happens more often, but it needs a very high level of maturity from both sides in order for it to happen. Because sometimes a new leader is going to decide to take some decisions that are more related to the operations, and some of the people are not going to like it, and they will
Right.
directly tell their leaders, oh yeah, when you were with us, you were challenging those decisions, and now because you're with them, the managers, the management, you're taking those decisions. We don't believe in you anymore, and we are not our friend anymore. And it's a fact, and we have to take it into consideration that sometimes some managers will need to take some decisions that people won't like. And it's a completely different perspective. Another trap that someone falls into when they are promoted is they think that they need to continue on doing all the execution as individual contributors plus managing the team. Where would you find time and energy to do that? So there is a certain point you will need to leave behind some of the execution tasks, the operational tasks, in order to make sure that you handle the big picture, that you handle the big team, and that you can lead the whole team to work through obstacles, problems, in order for them to reach whatever you want. So it's a completely different mindset at first and set of skills after. So it starts with the mindset that I'm here to use. One of the things is they need to use a little bit more of authority. And then some of the people who are promoted from within, they would say, oh, authority, I'll definitely not use it because I know them and will use my relationship with those people in order to put things in place. You can't. You'll
No,
need
not
some
at all.
authority. You need some authority sometimes. People need to have guidance, need to have someone who represents solid decision making, someone who inspires trust and tells the people that follow me. I will lead you towards some things. And all these, like, this is the type of authority that we're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I guess too, like the term I always hear getting tossed around is like you're talking accountability. And then of course, psychological safety is like it's almost like opposite ends sometimes. Like you're trying to get somebody on board, but at the same time you want them to to feel like wanted, needed, and not targeted. Um, how does a good manager do this, and how would you kind of coach them through this? Because right now it's just a concept until like situationally it pops up, and you've seen these situations. Uh,
Yeah.
walk us through it.
Sure. So it's a tendency, it's a trend these days to be a benevolent leader, someone who takes care of their people, to be nice and gentle. And
Right?
we've been
Yeah.
talking a lot about this posture, about this positioning since the past 2 3 years. Like it started with the pandemic and it continued.
Yeah, and I
And
imagine
in my
too, it's
opinion,
kind of generational.
also,
That
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But I've heard some of the managers or some of the leaders come to me and tell me, "Hey, George, we can't take it anymore. We're not able to follow up on the results. Every time I talk with one of my employees and tell them how is it going with this project, they tell me this is harassment. You're putting too much pressure. This is not working." Well, actually, that's my job as a leader, as a manager, to do some follow up. So, how can I, at the same time, be nice, perceived as a gentle person, take care of the well being of my people, but at the same time, drive them towards getting these results? And this is the good mix of accountability and psychological safety. And there's a very nice model by Amy Edmondson that brings those two concepts into one matrix, and it explains that lots of things. Some of them is you cannot have only psychological safety without accountability.
right,
It's like
yeah.
if you're creating a kumbaya environment where everybody's singing and everybody's happy. And if you don't want to work, no problem. There's absolutely no issue. Just like I want you to be happy. Well, it doesn't work. And then the opposite is also completely not acceptable, where there is high accountability but zero or very low psychological safety. And this is where you develop anxiety. This is where you develop less confidence or relationship of trust, and then people would start um, covering their errors, not saying talking about them. They will cover parts of their identity because they're afraid of to show off. They're definitely not going to take initiatives, and they will not be engaged at all through the job. So the ideal is to have those leaders where they can organize or prepare for the optimal conditions for their people to be autonomous within the team. So a leader today doesn't have the job to only communicate and follow up and supervise and observe, but the good leader today is has the obligation of ensuring the good conditions, the optimal conditions for their people to be at their best, autonomous, capable, responsible, and taking the needed initiatives.
I love it. Wow. Now, you mentioned a big, powerful word in there, and that is anxiety. And of course, anxiety, burnout, all these things, they're also physical. And we mentioned generational and everything else. In the workplace, um, of course, it's managing people's emotions and the setting to make it work as smoothly as possible. Um, have you noticed or had other people come up to you and say, "Yeah, this is just getting kind of worse and worse in the workplace and society"? That people are kind of dysregulated, that their system is easily triggered or not functioning maybe as well as it could be.
Yeah. So, David, anxiety is one of the terms that I almost use every day through my accompanying and my training, my coaching and my training sessions, because it's somehow generalized in this society at a macro scope, but also at a micro level through within the teams. And then remember, just like do this exercise. Remember the past 3, 4, 5 people you met during the past days, and then haven't you had the impression that everyone is running behind, having some pressure, need to deliver very fast, and it's like everything needs to happen in the moment right now,
Right.
and it became a kind of this is how we live. This is the anxiety that is part of our daily lives. But actually, we're not supposed to be living like this, and
No, not at all.
and and
Yeah.
then and then sometimes we need to blame someone because of what we're living, and probably we're going to blame our boss.
Right. Yeah.
Most of the time, he is the source of everything bad that is happening in my life. He doesn't understand my reality. He's throwing more tasks on me. He's telling me that I need to work more. He's telling me to be more efficient. He's pushing. He's cutting on my resources. So it's all about the boss who's doing that. And that's why I started by telling you, poor leaders. Oh my God, how difficult the situation is today, because it's not an easy thing, and more and more the leaders know today that they are somehow responsible of the well-being of their people. Perhaps 10 years or 15 years ago, when you tell a leader you're responsible of the well-being, they tell you, like, I'm not their therapist. Oh no, let them go and they have a therapy somewhere with someone. That's how they would perceive it. But today
Right.
we're very much aware that if my people are not happy, then there's a part that I should be there's a role I should be playing in here.
Yeah. And I keep going back to this. I was at a speaker at the Brain Capital Innovation Summit, and the organizer goes to me, "Yeah, the European Brain Health Commission crunched the numbers on this, and Kingsley and other uh, big name entities, and they came up with the number for brain disorders, which is everything from your neurodevelopmental, your neurodegenerative, your injuries, and mental health. That right now has a global price tag of $5 trillion and is expected to skyrocket to 16 trillion by the end of the year. Like, that exceeds most countries. Well, right now it exceeds all but three countries' GDP. Like, the number is huge. So there is this dysregulation and things, and managers and bosses are left to deal with it, like you mentioned. And on the other side, though, there's this opportunity, and it's called brain capital, to improve the performance and everything. And I think, yeah, uh, companies are starting to kind of realize this and think, yeah, both environmentally management, but also maybe physical as well, and that wellness side of things. Um, but with that being said,
David, it's
yeah,
very to link what you're saying to something that is very similar. We hear a lot from the leaders today something that they call they ask us to do more with less.
Yeah.
And it's as if organizations are cutting on resources and doing the people to deliver even more. But they
Wow.
forget that the key term is not to do more with less, it's to do more differently. And
Yes.
unfortunately, some of the leaders are very stuck in their methodology and their way of doing things, that they forget that they need to get out of the comfort zone, try to challenge on how they're doing things in order to bring some improvements, or also sometimes cut on unnecessary or useless production that they are doing because it's not needed anymore and it's not useless. And they
Yeah.
don't have the luxury to stop, think, so they can go faster. They think that if they stop, they are slower. It slows them, so they push more and more, and they give more hours and more energy. But actually, the equation doesn't work. You have less resources, so how would you be able to do more with less? You'll have to go differently.
I kind of feel your frustration on this. And here's another one. Like, you're training managers. Have you ever been in the situation you're like, okay, well, managers are that middleman. It's kind of a sandwich. Employees and then C-suite or higher ups, right? And they're in between. Like, what a horrible position if things are going wrong to be in that place. Have you ever been contracted to a company business where you're like, it's not the manager's problem, it's the expectations of the higher ups? And like, how on earth do you deal with that? Like, your job,
Sure.
your contract is to make the manager better, but it's the systems, it's the pressure from the top. Like, should the manager find a new place? Like, what? Like,
That's
what's the
I won't
solutions?
tell, sometimes it's a solution, but I won't tell this to my clients.
Right. You
Only between
can't.
you and me and the listeners here. No, but what if I'm dealing only with that middle management, and I'm not dealing with the upper management? What I do is to how can I empower those people to challenge constructively the upper level.
Ah,
So
yes.
and I'm not pushing them to do a revolution. It's not like the kind things should be changed as of now. It's not about this, but it's about how can you come to bring a certain perspective of your reality, but spoken in the language of your executives. Because
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
come and speak it in the language of the operational, it will be very boring. You'll tell them about your daily job and how this little thing is not working and how this little thing is not working. But when you talk with them in language of numbers, results, impact on the market, impact on innovation and improvement, and things like that, like those strategic terms, if you come and challenge them and show them that if we don't move towards this direction, this is what's going to happen. This is what speaks to the executives. They want to see the end thing. But if you come and involve them into your little operational things, they won't listen to you, and they will definitely keep on doing the same things that they want. And unfortunately, those middle management don't understand that they have to change the language and speak the upper management language. They speak their expertise from their expertise. They speak from their terms, from their terms, and all what the executives do is boring. Should we listen to all these details? Well, they don't.
Wow. Now, what else have we like that pops up so much kind of as a problem wise that you provide the solutions to, like that gets your juices flowing? Like, we mentioned a few things, but I imagine like you've seen a few other things, maybe in patterns or the odd one that just really sticks out to you. Do you have any kind of stories of those changes and the revolutions you've seen in the work you've done with people?
Sure. So one of the things that is very very much happening these days is continuous change,
Yes, yeah,
and
massive.
a lot everywhere at
Yeah,
all levels, at all levels. And the problem is, the more the change becomes frequent, the less credible you appear or you are perceived by your people. Because one day you tell us that you're going into this direction, The second day you say that you're going into this other direction, and then the third day you change also another direction. So at a certain point, okay, I don't believe you anymore. So you lose your credibility, and I cannot follow you anymore. Because again, it goes back to the communication and the way you're giving this perception to your people that you are building something that is 100% sure. There's
Right.
no more about this. There's no more about this at all. So people, you need to change the mindset into a more agile and flexible mindset. And this happens through the communication. So when I tell my people where we're going, I tell them this is the direction for now. Now, please be careful about this thing that might happen, this other thing that might appear, this other change of mind of our client, this other thing. So prepare for all these. And then when I change the direction later on, my employees will not waste their energy. Why did you change? And we don't believe you. So they won't spend their energy on nagging. They will put their energy
Right.
on changing the cap or
I love it.
changing the
Yes.
direction. Because they have already prepared them, then things are going to change. Prepare yourselves about this.
Uh, now that you keep mentioning communication, so let's do a little exercise here. Uh, and this goes into like the multicultural workforces out there. And I, I want you to pick 3 impactful words you have that kind of summarizes what you do and what you believe in. And I'm just going to throw out 4 non-random languages for you to say them in.
Okay, now I need to choose the right words.
All right. So in English, what are those 3 words? Actually,
Okay.
stop. Let's go French first. Like let's go with that beautiful rhythmic sounding language.
Yeah. So let's start one word at a time.
Oh, all 3. Just throw them out there with your passion.
Okay. So leadership,
Okay.
training, and leadership training, and I want to change. I want to choose something that is more difficult, like dynamism.
Okay.
Being dynamic. Yeah.
All right. And in French?
Okay, so training becomes formation. Um, what was the other one? Leadership. Check this one. Leadership.
Okay. All 3 of them.
Stays leadership. Leadership stays leadership, and then the
Fair
third
enough.
one, dynamic becomes dynamism.
All right. How about in Arabic?
I knew that one was coming. Okay, so training becomes تدريب, and then dynamism becomes حيوية, and then leadership becomes فن القيادة.
That one sounds great. Say that one more time.
Yeah, you'll definitely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So leadership is فن القيادة.
Okay. And then a similar but different language in Lebanese.
In this case, Lebanese is a big mix of the Arabic, the official Arabic, and a little bit of French and a little bit of English. But actually, the pronunciation becomes a little bit different. So dynamism, instead of hayawiya, it becomes hayawiye, and then instead of fannal qiyada, it becomes qiyadi, something like that. Yeah. And
Okay.
usually we use leadership more. Even in Lebanese, it's like leadership, definitely more. Yeah, and train and تدريب. Yeah, it stays like somehow a little bit the same. Yeah, the Lebanese and the Arabic, the official Arabic is the written official language, and Lebanese is a dialect. And then when we migrated to Canada, my son was 6 years old, and I wanted him to keep
Okay.
on learning the Arabic. So he was learning the official one, and I told him, okay, what is bed in Arabic? And then he wrote sarir, and then he said, like, what is sarir actually? I said, like, it's bad. And he said, like, why don't we say tachit like the usual Lebanese? And I said, oh my God, at 6 years old, I'm teaching him four different languages at the same time. You know what? Forget about it. When you grow old, you learn the Arabic later on. So now my kid knows how my kid, like he's 21. He knows
Yeah.
how to speak. He knows how to speak Lebanese, but he doesn't know how to write it, unfortunately. One
Oh,
day,
okay.
perhaps.
Yeah. What an important skill. And yeah,
Hmm.
how do you think your background here? Like you're Canadian, you speak four different languages, you've had experience all around the world. Uh, how do you think that plays into management and gives you an advantage in your coaching?
I'm lucky to have landed in Canada because it's a multicultural place.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then, yeah, it's true that I got like the cultural aspect of the Canadian cultural aspect, but knowing where do people come from and having worked with several nations, several different people coming from different backgrounds, have helped me to understand more the people that I'm working with. I've worked in Dubai, I've worked in Saudi Arabia, I was based in Lebanon because I'm of Lebanese origin, but I've worked with and Dubai, it's a very eclectic environment. Also,
Yes, yeah.
even more than Canada. So I'm pretty much used to speak with people that come from different cultural backgrounds, and I think it played somehow on my skills for sure.
Wow. Yeah. I think it's a huge advantage for you. And I'm kind of jealous.
Never too late. Never too late.
Absolutely. Well, George, you should be delighted that your experience stimulates change and fosters engagement all around the globe that you've been. How do people find out more about you? How do they connect with you?
LinkedIn is the place to go. So I write
Okay.
my name in a very strange way. It's George, but it's a J at the beginning, J at the end, but it's pronounced as all other normal Georges. So when you write Jorj, you won't find 100 people writing their names like me. And then that's one. And also definitely my website, LeaderZone.ca. That's where you will find all the services that I deliver. By the way, on LinkedIn, I'm extremely generous in terms of concepts, ideas, models, diagnostics, self evaluations. So feel free to join there, and I will be happy to answer more of your questions whenever you connect.
I love it. Reach out to George on LinkedIn, our Leader Zone. And, well, of course, stay tuned to the next episode of The Hardy Brain, the show that takes athletic, introverted entrepreneurs and leaders and transforms them into ironclad brain performers. Take care.